The best VR headsets can make you forget, even if just for a moment you're wearing a big chunk of plastic and foam on your face. It will make you feel like you're a part of a game's world, if only until you walk into your sofa. We've tested dozens of models, from the most popular to the most obscure, and the best VR headset is the Meta Quest 3. It's not just that it's relatively affordable, it's one of few truly new-feeling VR headsets right now. Its older sibling, however, is the best budget VR headset, the Meta Quest 2. If money is no object and you're just looking for the most high-end, best-resolution VR headset out there, the Valve Index is the closest thing to having a holodeck in your office. While we'd love to see an upgraded model out of Valve, the Index still holds up really well. If you can get it at a good discount, even better. We have listed the best VR headset in 2024, and there are key features you need to consider this to help you choose the best one for you. For more information on the product, as always, I've included a link in the description box down below, which are updated with the best prices on each product. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to stay tuned till the end so you don't miss anything. Now let's get started. Number 5. Meta Quest 3. Meta's latest VR headset, the Quest 3, greatly improves upon our previous favorite model, the Quest 2. For starters, it features a higher resolution display and a faster processor, so everything looks and feels better. More significantly, it has color pass-through cameras that make it possible to work and play in high-quality augmented reality using your surroundings. At $499,999, the Quest 3 costs $200 more than the Quest 2, but it contains hardware that surpasses the tech in the $999 by $999 Quest Pro. Those upgrades make the Meta Quest 3 our new Editor's Choice winner for VR headsets. At 18.2 ounces, the Quest 3 is just a hair heavier than the Quest 2, 17.7 ounces, but noticeably less bulky. Not counting the headband, the headset is just 2.2 inches deep from the front to the top of the face mask padding, down from 2.6 inches. The sides of the white-gray chassis are more rounded, making it seem even smaller than the flat-walled Quest 2. It looks and feels much more streamlined and compact. The Quest 3's curved face features 4 cameras in 2 vertical stacks, with an infrared emitter between them. 2 cameras are primarily used for spatial tracking, scanning your surroundings for AR content, and determining the boundaries of your play area. The other 2 are RGB pass-through cameras that let you view your environment in color. 2 additional spatial tracking cameras sit along the headset's bottom edge. A pupillary distance, PD, adjustment dial, and volume rocker sit between the bottom cameras, along with a 3-contact connection for the optional $129.99 charging dock. If you don't use the dock, you can charge the headset using the USB-C port on the left hinge. A power button rests just below it. Number 4. Meta Quest 2. Meta's Quest 2 headset is dropped in price yet again, hitting an unprecedented $109.99. That's by far the lowest priced standalone VR headset we've ever seen. Meta may have a replacement to the Quest 2 on the immediate horizon, likely a budget version of the Quest 3 released last year, which has a faster processor, better graphics, higher resolution displays, clearer lenses, and color cameras that enable mixed reality for $500. However, even if that happens, the Quest 2 is more than fine for most people and currently an unbeatable value. That's why it's still our editor's choice pick. Our original review from 2020, updated slightly, is below. There's a pair of magic goggles I've gone back to again and again over the last 2 years, opening up worlds of games, theater, conversations, art, and experiences that are tough to even describe. The Meta Quest 2, formerly and sometimes still the Oculus Quest 2, is an improved, less expensive sequel to the 2019 Oculus Quest. It's already been my portable holodeck, my little magic fitness room, my escape space, and one of my favorite game consoles. The Quest 2 is still the best VR platform, although Meta now has an even more improved Quest 3. Right now, the Quest 2 can run all the same games and apps the Quest 3 can, but for $300 less. Sure, it's not quite as good, but I don't think a lot of people who aren't VR specialists would notice the difference. Even now, there isn't a standalone VR headset in existence with the app library or value that the Quest 2 has. Meta upgraded the base storage on the entry-level Quest 2, doubling it from 64GB to 128GB. 128GB should be more than enough storage for most, but serious VR gamers will appreciate the 256GB storage tier step-up. There's no way to expand storage otherwise. Number 3. PlayStation VR 2. It's a thrill when we get to say this about a new piece of gaming hardware. The PlayStation VR 2 is a true generational leap that makes the old one look like a piece of junk. It's not exactly cheap, but for $549.99, you get a high-end headset with a 4K, HDR-enabled OLED screen, a 110-degree field of view, built-in tracking cameras, and eye tracking, plus 2 of its slick Sense controllers with the excellent adaptive triggers and haptic feedback Sony introduced with the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. The catch is that it requires you to be connected to a PS5 by a single USB-C cable. But that means it's much more powerful when it comes to delivering fantastic graphics than a self-contained headset like the Meta Quest 2. With all of that, including a few features you don't see on even more expensive PC VR headsets like Valve's Index and HP's Reverb G2, the PlayStation VR 2 has vaulted console VR into the lead in just about every category, except available games. The PlayStation VR 2 is an immediate improvement over its predecessor in every way, but the physical design is actually pretty similar. Like its forebear, it's got a clean black and white look that matches your PS5, and it's built around an adjustable head strap that's separated from the VR display itself, which does a great job of comfortably accommodating a wide range of head shapes and lets the weight of the screen rest on the top of your head rather than on your face. The one-stop adjustment mechanism on the back of the head strap remains an excellent way to dial in a perfect fit. Number 2. HP Reverb G2. The consumer virtual reality headset market thinned a bit over the last few years. Facebook or Meta simplified its Oculus lineup to just the standalone Quest 2, and HTC focused primarily on professional use with its Vive Pro and Vive Focus lines. Microsoft's Windows mixed reality platform has seen a soft culling too, and currently HP is the only company besides HTC that offers a consumer headset for it. The HP Reverb G2 is a simple, accessible VR headset that's similar to the first Reverb we tested in 2019. The headset's motion controllers feel much better than its predecessors, and it all works with Steam VR far more reliably. At $599.99, the G2 is less expensive than the $999 Valve Index, our editor's choice pick for tethered VR headsets, or the $799 HTC Vive Pro 2, though those headsets feature technical benefits that the Reverb lacks. Meanwhile, the $299.99 Oculus Quest 2, our overall editor's choice pick for VR headsets, undercuts the G2's price by half, and functions as a standalone headset that doesn't require a connected PC. The HP Reverb G2 is a good headset on its own, and better than HTC's aging consumer-level $699.99 Vive Cosmos headset. Still, it's wedged between great competition. The Reverb G2 shares a general shape with the original Reverb, but with welcome upgrades in terms of comfort and motion tracking. The all-black headset has a smooth plastic visor, with 2 forward-facing cameras on the front panel. They're joined by a pair of cameras on the sides, which is an upgrade from the original Reverb. That said, it's not as camera-laden as the 6-lensed HTC Vive Cosmos. Like all Windows mixed reality headsets, the Reverb G2 relies entirely on these cameras to track its position, and doesn't use external sensors or beacons like the Valve Index. A slider on the visor's bottom adjusts pupillary distance, PD. Number 1. Valve Index. The Valve Index is the next generation VR headset we've been waiting for, but the Steam VR platform on which the headset depends is still capricious and painfully hard to troubleshoot. At $999 to $919, about AU $1,125 for the full package, Valve's high-powered headset is an expensive portal to the future, and one that we'll use almost exclusively going forward, but it's powered by decades-old software. Valve has played a huge and important part in pushing virtual reality forwards over the years, with its tracking system and Steam VR platform. But it didn't launch its own VR headset until 2019, the Valve Index. Even today, nearly 2 years after it launched, the Valve Index is one of the best virtual reality headsets money can buy. It has an ultra-crisp display that runs fairly well, even with older GPUs, a wide field of view, a high refresh rate, and Valve's knuckle controllers, which can track the movement of each and every one of your fingers. It's the complete VR package that we've been waiting for. But the kind of next-generation VR on offer from the Valve Index is inevitably expensive. The Valve Index headset is $919, about $1,125. And before we hail Valve's hardware as our VR savior, it's worth pointing out that it's not without some issues, including a lack of compelling VR games on Steam and Steam VR's problematic troubleshooting process. More recently, there's also a Valve Index problem that has little to do with actual performance. It's tricky to find one. In many regions, stock can be frustratingly hard to come by. Valve CEO Gabe Newell has stated that necessary components for the headset manufactured in Wuhan, China haven't been readily available during the pandemic, so that doesn't look to be changing anytime soon.